Hey everybody, this is Dr. Mark Arcuri coming to you live tonight from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I've got to tell you, this is the most nerve-wracking experience doing this on Facebook Live. Obviously, this is my first Facebook Live experience. And I've got this software interface on my computer. And the software is completely, I'm not actually on Facebook. It's allowing me to just kind of put things onto Facebook and not have to look at all the distractions that are going on. And it's really weird, I have to say that. So I'm going to do my best to to make believe I know what's going on your end and to trust that you can actually see me. I've got two cameras on my computer here, and both of them seem to be on. But the one that I think should be on is the one that's checked off. So hopefully you can see me and not some half of my body from here down, which is what the other one would show. So somebody send me a comment if that's the case, and I'll see what I can do. But in the meantime, here I am, and I'm looking into my really cool iMac computer, and I've got this screen with cameras on the top and kind of this nothingness in the middle and my picture on the bottom. And from what I understand, I'm supposed to look into the nothingness in the middle so that it looks more like I'm communicating directly with you, and which is my intent to do. So hopefully I'm doing that properly. And I'm a little bit attentionally challenged, so my tendency is going to be to look down at me or up at the camera, and I'll do my best not to do that. But anyway, it is an absolutely beautiful evening here. I thought it would be a little bit darker at this time. It's 6 p.m. in Santa Fe. And fall is finally here. It's just amazingly beautiful. If you saw my blog posting on Monday, I said the same thing because it really was. But it's a perfect backdrop for what I want to share with you tonight. We've got snow caps on the mountains since Sunday night, and no hints that things are going to get any different for the months to come. So I'm very, very happy that we are finally into the pre-winter days here in Santa Fe. And no, I do not ski. People ask me that every time I tell them that the mountains have snow caps, and what I tell them is a true story from about maybe 10 years ago when I attempted to learn how to ski, and I held on to the ski instructor so tight that he yelled at me, and I never went back after lunch. So I don't think I'm going to be skiing anytime soon. But I am super excited to be here and happy that you're here as well, either live streaming or in the replay that probably more people will be watching over time because it's hard for everyone to kind of coordinate to be here at the same time on a Facebook Live event. But remember that I will be here every Wednesday at the same time, 5 p.m. U.S. Pacific time. So that's 6 p.m. Mountain, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then if you're off either coast, you're going to have to figure it out yourself because my math brain doesn't go that far. But we've got lots to cover tonight. Plenty of time to do it, though, because, we're doing this every week. It's not going to be limited to what we do tonight. And every bit of what's going to shape what we do going forward is going to be based on your comments going forward as well. So please, please take the opportunity to comment in the box, which should be below my picture on your screen, either live or in the replay. And based on those comments and questions, I'll be able to shape future sessions as we go along. So tonight what I want to do is really just give you an introduction into the work that I'm doing currently and how I see I can kind of conceptualize that to give you a program over the coming weeks that can really help you change your life. I mean, that's my intention. That's what I'm here for. So definitely send those comments one way or another, and we'll keep this going. So some bookkeeping things just to get them out of the way. The archives of this broadcast will be here on Facebook, and I believe they're there forever. So for better or worse, you'll be able to see this broadcast and the future ones whenever you want. The good thing is that you can continue to make comments, any comments that might come in this evening that I don't get to answer, partly because I'm still trying to figure out how to do all this, but also because we just may not have enough time. But any comments that do come in that are not addressed tonight can certainly be addressed in the comment box below. And I will do that. I'll read every one of them. I'll respond to them, whether there's 1 or 100, or whether they're done tonight or 100 days from now. I will keep that conversation going, I promise you that. So you can also grab the videos on my website. We'll be putting up a page tonight at transformationallifeguidance.com/Facebook-live-archives. And they'll be up there because they'll be on YouTube after this. You will not have the advantage on the website of the comment box, but you can certainly see the replays if you choose to do that. And but really, just to get the most current information, I want to encourage you right now to take a minute for what you're doing, and I hope I don't mess it up. And if I do, I'll ask your apologies in advance. But if you look in your Facebook window that I can't see, I know that there's a link on the left-hand side. It says Transformational Tips with a big exclamation point. That is our e-letter. And at the very minimum, you'll get a monthly newsletter with transformational tips. But you'll also get ongoing information. And that's going to be the best place for you to get info as you go along and as we go along. So go ahead and sign up for that now. And I believe if you do that, it doesn't take you out of Facebook. It just takes you into a different window. So I believe that this video will still show up in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, if I've got that right. So, so you can click on the upper left-hand corner where it says Transformational Tips, and you can sign up and still keep this video going and come back to it when you're finished. Super secret deals will be available at that website or in that e-letter at various times as we go forward. Carlos, my office guru, and I are working really hard to put some stuff together to give to you, and some of those things will only be offered in that newsletter. So please go ahead and sign up if you would. All right. So as I said, fall is definitely in the air here in Santa Fe, and I'm sure where you are as well. We do have followers. We've got like 3,300 people on the Facebook page, which is just amazing, and I'm so grateful for that, from all over the world. And so certainly there are some people from down under and other places where it may not be the fall right now. I think, unless I'm wrong, those are people that are experiencing summer, the beginnings of summer. If that's not right, feel free to correct me on that as well. But fall is an incredibly important time of the year. I think no matter where you are, it's going to happen eventually. And for me, and not for the shock value of saying it, but fall is all about death. And but in that death, in the way, those of you who know me personally know that I don't believe in death. So, I think that's sort of an illusion. But death as the setting for a transition to a rebirth and into a new life. So for me, it's beautiful proof that death is really an illusion. And, plants look like they die, but they really don't. Many come back in the new year, in the spring, sometimes in a different form, but they do come back. A lot of plants do seem to really die because they don't necessarily come back in the new year. Some of the flowers and vegetables and others that we call annuals do seem to complete their entire life cycle in one season. But even then, they have other roles that they play, so they're not really dying. They can transform into mulch, into fertilizers, through the seeds that some of them leave behind, and so forth. So death to me in the fall is really just setting the stage for rebirth into a life that is much more vivid and profound than what was there before. And those of you who have read Nietzsche or know the quote, he said at one time that the snake that cannot shed its skin must die. And so again, if death is an illusion, that shedding of the skin is really just an opportunity for us to kind of shed who we are in this moment in order to open up who we're becoming as we go through life. And that's really the premise of my work that I'm developing now. The theme of it is what I call Paradise Rediscovered. It's also the title of my newest book that'll be out soon, but a whole bunch of related things. And it's going to be the premise of this Facebook Live that we'll go through week by week in the coming months. And the premise is really, really super simple. We're born, and of course, nobody can argue that. But at that moment of birth, we've been given this divinely given sense of who we are. We know who we are. Our needs are getting met. We're not, we were in the womb for 9 months and getting what we were getting from our mother. There was nobody that had to necessarily do anything to make those things happen. But then once we're born, I call them the humans that were put in charge of us, begin to change all that. They teach us their beliefs and their viewpoints and their values, and slowly but surely sort of program us out of all of that divine stuff that we were born with and replace it with what they believe is what we need to know to survive in this world. And in no time, and usually during the first 7 years of life, many disciplines believe, we completely forget that wisdom that we had when we came into the world. I was at a conference maybe a month or so ago in Mexico City, and Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden were there. And they were talking, mostly Bruce Lipton, about the Jesuits and how they've always said, or there's a quote attributed to them that says, if you give me the first 7 years, I'll give you the man. Meaning that if you give me that period of time to shape who this person will become, I can do that. And they said this 400 years ago, which is why they said man. Of course, it applies to women as well. But, this was my journey, and I bet it's been yours. And I was telling my mom about it a few weeks ago, and she was saying that's also what underlies the change in the early 1900s, maybe 1910, where first the sacrament of Holy Communion in the Catholic Church was changed to be given at 7 years old, because it was felt that at age 7 is when the person begins to have this conscious mind that can take over and begin to make decisions for itself. And everything before that, and it's what the Jesuits were saying, and it's what other disciplines in science believe as well, everything before age 7 is sort of unconscious. We're just a sponge and absorbing all this stuff. And the problem is, once our conscious mind develops, we have this idea that, well, maybe things aren't necessarily the way that we've been taught, and there's something else that we can learn. And, I believe that life, as I call it, is smarter than all that stuff that we've been taught. And the universe, God, your higher self, whatever it is that you embrace as something with a little bit more insight and knowing than you have as a human, that all that is smarter than those 7 years. And as we go through life, we face challenges, and those challenges come upon us because of this misalignment between who we are or I should say who we're living in this moment and who we really are inside. And when there's that misalignment, it just doesn't fit. And we come across things in our lives that we just can't continue to go through as we are, because they're not working out for us. I believe that it's in our responses to those challenges and the resolutions, or I should say the responses and the reactions to those challenges and the resolution to them, where we get glimpses of what our true self is, because we sort of get pulled back into handling things because they're not working in the way that we were taught. We begin to handle them in a way that just seems to be innate, and we don't really know why, but it just kind of comes out. It's our subconscious mind coming out and guiding us. And I call each of those experiences a piece of a puzzle, and I call that puzzle the picture of who we really are. So in the process of dealing with the challenges in our life, as we put things back together, as we have successes, as we find out what feels better than what we've been taught, those pieces can be put together, and in that process we reconnect with who we really are. So in this series of Facebook Live events going forward, I want to offer you an opportunity to embark on this journey of discovery, what I call a rediscovering, since at one time, at least when we were born, we knew who that was, or we were who we were, but a process of rediscovery. And I call that essence of who we really are, our paradise. And I call it paradise because when we're there, we're in bliss. When we're a little baby being born, coming out of the womb, we're in bliss. We know what we're doing. And so it's a paradise of sense, and it's in the sense. And this process of rediscovering who we really are is paradise, or rediscovering paradise, or paradise rediscovered. So that's my intention here in this website series. So one of the things I want to mention just before we wrap up some of what I'm going to ask you to do is that the way that this works with Facebook Live is that there's about a 10-second delay. So when someone makes comments, as someone just did, I don't see them right away. And when I respond to them, you're not going to see my response right away. So it's a little bit off in timing. So we'll kind of manage that the best we can. But I want to try out something, because this is Carlos who's asking this comment. and he's my office guru, so I appreciate him giving me this opportunity to answer the question, but also to try out this feature where I can pull this onto my screen, and there it is. So hopefully you're going to see the question as well. And the question is, what would be the best way to realign our lives to what we used to be? And that's a loaded question, because if I can answer that for you tonight, Carlos, then we wouldn't do any more of these Facebook Lives. But I'm going to answer it anyway. And so what I can tell you is that it's a process. So it takes some time, it takes some practice, because we're undoing a habit. And the habit is what we've been taught. So for 7 years, we're told to do something over and over. And the more we do it, the more of a habit it becomes. So the first part of the process is to begin noticing what seems to work better when we have challenges in our lives. If we find ourselves jumping to a certain way of dealing with it, but it doesn't work out very well, that's a clue, obviously, that there's a misalignment. So as we kind of play with that a little bit, and we'll do that through this Facebook Live series, because people have the opportunity to bring up the challenges that they're dealing with. But as you begin to play with that a little bit and find something that just feels a little bit better, and maybe something that's a little bit better than that, a little bit better than that, over time, you get that sense of who you are. So once you have a better sense of who you are, through that better alignment, that better feeling place that you end up at when you deal with a challenge, that is the realignment process. And you just begin to practice those better feeling ways of dealing with the world around you. And over time, they become the habits, and those old habits kind of fall away. And that's realignment. So since you're not right here responding live, I can't necessarily ask you if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. And if it doesn't, you can certainly put another comment in. But I really believe that life is it's a process of realignment, basically. We were aligned when we came into the world. We immediately got into this place of being disaligned, I guess, so that we experience misalignment. And then throughout the course of our life, once we have a conscious brain to kind of take over and notice what's going on, and notice when we don't feel good, and notice when things just don't seem to work out well. And I can't believe I had road rage yesterday with that person that was just doing what they were doing, and why did it affect me the way it did? I could have done something differently. Life gives us those challenges as a way to get realigned with who we really are. And I think that's a lifelong process. I'm not sure we ever get there completely. Maybe Abraham and the law of attraction would say once we get there, then we're done. And if we're done, then we really die. But even then, we don't really die. But our life as we know it now ends. But my passion is to work with people who want to be guided through that process, and who can take the opportunities for realigning and put that puzzle back together and discover who they really are, and then live the rest of their life from that place of paradise, bliss. So hopefully that answers your question. I don't see any others on there right now, and I don't even know how to take this off the screen. Maybe I can drag it back off again. Yeah, that worked. So I'm going to ask you to do 3 things now, which are sort of just initial challenges. They're not so much exercises. And starting next week, we'll get into exercises. But the first thing I want to ask you to do is to make that commitment. to be here, either live, preferably, so that we can interact in this way, as I just did with Carlos, or in the replays. I mean, whatever works. Not everybody can be here live, and that's fine. But make that commitment to be here. Make the commitment to ask questions, whether it's in the replay or live. And I will respond to every one of them, as I said, and I'll do that as the weeks go on. The second commitment I want you to make is to sign up for the transformational tips. So if you haven't done it yet, or if you're watching a replay, go to that upper left-hand box on your screen and click on transformational tips ! And sign up for the transformational tips now, and keep the conversation going. It's the best way to keep the conversation going, both here on Facebook but in the outside world. Because when you get those emails from us, I will respond to those as well. You can email me back. We can go back and forth, do whatever you want. So I think that can be tremendously valuable, or I know it will be. But again, it's also the way to find out about all the stuff that we want to be providing for you guys that is not necessarily going to be just announced on Facebook. They'll have, I see perfect thank you now. So there's that time delay from Carlos. So you're welcome. So the transformational tips will also be the way to get the inside scoop on the super secret special deals that we want to provide to you over time, and that we hope you'll take advantage of. So all the programs and events and other things that we'll be shooting along. And as I'm talking, and since Carlos is on this screen with us, and I don't want him to get mad at me. He got mad at me once today when I spent some money I didn't need to spend. But that's his job, and I told him that. But you know what I'm going to do? I've got the book right here. So this is my first book, A Life Aligned. And A Life Aligned, the journey to allowing the magic in your life. This was published in 2008, and I put it out again, I think, in 2011, after my dad passed away. I didn't change really anything about it, but I rededicated the book and cleaned it up a little bit. There were typos that were my fault. So, but you know what I'm going to do? If for anyone that signs up for the transformational tips as a result of this broadcast, so either tonight or as a result, or watching the replay, so in the next couple of days, I'm going to send you a free copy of the book. So what's going to happen is, if you sign up for the transformational tips, you're going to get an automated email, and that email will have a link in it with a giveaway that we typically give people when they sign up for the e-letter. And that giveaway is to download chapter 2 of the book. And it's my favorite chapter. It's a great chapter. I love where I wrote the chapter and what it's about, and the metaphors that were going on in my life at the time, and how the universe was supporting me. And so you're going to get that link anyway. It's an automated email, and it's just the way it's set up. Because I'm doing this kind of spontaneously, I don't have the ability to run in there and set up a different emailer that's going to just give you a copy of the book. So what I will do between now and, what is today, Wednesday, so between now and Friday, so for 48 hours, I will go through the email sign-up list, and anyone that has signed up for the transformational tips between now and midnight Friday night, I'll go through and personally send you a copy of the Life Aligned book. It'll be in an EPUB format. You should be able to easily open that in any of your gadgets that you have, whether it be Kindle or iPad or on the Mac or on the PC, and Kindle app or Books app, which used to be called iBooks app, or anything. If all else fails, there's an app called Calibre, Calibre, that you can download free and read anything you want. So I'll send you a copy of the book if you'll go ahead and sign up for Transformational Tips, and make that a little bit of a super secret deal for tonight that we love to give. So that is my intro to Paradise Rediscovered, and asking you to make the commitment to go ahead and join us on this journey that will go on for as long as it takes. I don't have a particular agenda for how many weeks we'll go, but I can guarantee we'll go every week, every Wednesday. My sense is that you'll finish when you finish, and if you want more, I'll be here. So I hope to see you next week at same time, same place on Facebook at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll continue the conversation. And at that time, I'll also incorporate any comments and feedback that I get from tonight's broadcast, whether it's live now or in replay. So thank you so much. I'm so happy you're here, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Great gratitude to you. Good night.